A decade ago, in 2014, I first stepped foot on a balanced vehicle. Let's look back and see what kind of ride it's been. My original plan was to partner with a Chinese factory producing these electric unicycles. I would have exclusive rights to distribute them in the US.
Remember when you were a kid and you wanted to fly? A feeling of effortless movement that's comfortable and easy, intuitive and natural. It was that dream that inspired us to create the Urban Glider.
It was around this time, in mid-2014, that I realized the severity of a lot of the electrical failures beginning to emerge. So I went to China, wanted to make sure all those quality control issues were squared away. And my first stop was in Dongqing. This area was interesting. You would see group rides just nowhere else in the world. This guy, Eric, he helped me out a lot. But before I could even get to the factory, wait, stop, what's that? Air compressing tanks? Sheets? Rolls? Breaking Bad China edition? Chain assemblies? Pneumatic actuator shop? Button shop? A shop with nothing but wheels? A shop with pumps and motors? A shop with nothing but hydraulic couplings? A shop with pneumatic cylinders, springs, bolts, more bolts, more bolts, more bolts. Yeah. Time to go to Hong Kong. It's now October 2014, and there was some kind of protest going on at the time. I don't remember what it was about. Now, let's ride up in there, like on that hill.
This is so steep. So yeah, that's the mind-blowingly steep hill. Okay, check it out. Turning is definitely not intuitive. It needs something to stabilize the leg.
Yes, that Jason, the one who runs e-wheels nowadays. Yeah, we sat down and had a conversation in 2014. Pack my bags, time to go to Shenzhen. Shenzhen, lots of buildings, lots of wheels, lots of wheel-shaped buildings. No, actually, there's only one of those. On the outskirts, you get these amazing, cool areas you could just explore and ride, and it's totally smooth. Cities, they just seem to go on forever. And then I started getting into some group rides. You know, it was just a few of us. We had some wacky vehicles, and there's a one-wheel. I was trying one of the first gen one-wheels in 2015. That is an SBU, self-balancing unicycle with a seat. I like unicycles without seats. Gotway M10 Gen 1 edition.
You can almost stop in place. There's so much turnover.
I didn't take it easy on these early wheels. I pushed them to their absolute electro-functional limits. Time to leave Shenzhen. We're going back to Dongguan, this time the Changping area, which is actually very close to where I originally landed in Dongqing. So on my way, I built this contraption, and it landed an investment which basically set us up in this office with this giant 3D printer, literally a giant printer. And well, as you can see, it had some giant problems. Although we did get some successful prints, but the weld quality of early welders and the BMSs available at the time were just atrocious. However, you can see my first pack. This was a prototype wheel we made. That's Ace, my mechanical engineer. He's the guy who set the foundation for my 3D modeling skill set, which I use to this day. Back to Shenzhen. But this time, where am I? What am I doing on these one-wheel things? I was at this factory for a different reason, and they just happened to be lying around, so I happened to hop on a couple of them and ouch. But, I mean, it did the thing. Now, this is a very unique picture. It's the only one I ever have of setting up this one-of-a-kind prototype device. It was so small, I could actually, fit it in my backpack if I took the pedals off. and it was very nimble, and it had a hollow core motor. It had a hollow core motor. It had a hollow core motor. Before Gotway had hollow core, but the control system left something to be desired. It's time to go back to China and find a new controller. I came across all kinds of interesting controllers. This guy didn't work, but it was very interesting. 2018, Vesk hits my workbench and goes up in flames shortly thereafter. But I think to myself, you know, these motor controllers are very interesting. I should build an entire electric skateboard that runs on them. As you can see here, this is one of our early prototype molds for the airless tire. It's actually vulcanized natural rubber. So it had a very long lifespan. It had custom built hub motors and early generation split packs, but as you can already start to see, these split packs are not ideal. We took things to scale. We built molds. Time to go back to the US and show people what we got. For a hot minute, skateboards are actually faster than unicycles. We're moving. 41 miles per hour. To be honest, I like unicycle more and ended up pausing the skateboard company due to COVID. During that time, the unicycle got way Nikola and crashed it shortly thereafter. I'm already wearing decent gear. A little bit of plastic stitching and she's back together. Maybe I should start making my own mod kits. Like, what can I do with these plates? But it's time to move. I need to get out of California. This time to Mexico. I get my own place. I don't have to share someone else's house. My own little FOCer. Yeah, that's right. This is a Vesk S18 2 years ago. And I thought, man, these are so great. I'm getting a whole bunch more of these. Let's start Vesking some Onewheels. This one's already got a CBXR in it. How hard could it be, right? But we were on the Balance app, and 3D printing boxes was the norm.
A box? Well, no, not that kind of box. This kind of box. Something more like this.
Well, not literally like that. The process, the sheet metal, it was actually quite amazing. Because if I could use sheet metal to hold a quad motor, I mean, it does that. So basically, we could just make a box out of sheet metal and it'd be much more durable, but we have a welding problem still. Combining multiple welders off the market is not going to do the trick. But hey, I've got this pure AC generating out of Vesk. Look at that. Coming along nicely. Decent prototype. But the BMS problem still exists, and making these split pack things are like a hassle. Look at how complicated that is. I mean, we could get it to balance, everything was stable, custom Vesk control, having fun, it's the life, you know, things are going great. But then one day, out of the blue, not this literal day, but it looked kind of like this, and ouch, yeah. I snapped 2 bones into 7 pieces in my leg. Ouch. On the Nikola, yep. It survived though. Keep on going. Now I have a car. So I cut my hair, started over, accidentally went to Las Vegas. I think about armor a little bit more often. Because, to be honest, if you've watched this video, you've seen me fall off maybe 1% of the times I've fallen off. What kind of material will we make it out of? Maybe something like this. Wow. It's strong. It's flexible. I could even use it as part of my other Onewheel Enclosures. My new enclosure. So this is the between the rails version. I'll just pull out these 4 screws first, and then we'll flip it over. And with the higher voltage controller, we'll need a BMS that can fit in a smaller form factor and hit higher voltages than ever before. It's smaller and separated into modules. These modules can be interconnected and located in convenient places. I'll be open sourcing the firmware for this BMS, which allows it to access and communicate with your Vesk motor controller. Here we have 8S balance modules that operate on flexible, basically super thin cables that can be daisy chained together to network multiple balance modules back to a master module, PSU, and charge port protection system. I hope to bring the BMS to market spring 2024. If you'd like to learn more, just click the link in the video description. The BMS is a very detailed project, and I'll have a full follow-up video released shortly after this one. Please subscribe to my new YouTube channel, Houdini, and you'll be one of the first to know when it comes out. If you like the kind of projects that I develop, feel free to join my Patreon. Thanks for watching, guys.